Hey y'all, this is Luke from Biloxi for Blue Collar Boxing. Trying something new. I think a lot of you probably interacted with me on Twitter or in chats on other shows, called in on other shows. Recently, I tried to call in on a show, looking at you, Mike Montero. Phones weren't open. Had a lot to rant about. So my wife said, you should start your own podcast. Now, make no mistake about it, she didn't say that because she thought I'd be good at it. She said it because she was tired of me yelling at the TV and wanted me to go down to the man cave and leave her alone. So that's why I'm here today. Can blame my wife and Mike Montero. By the way, give Mike Montero a follow on X. He puts out some good content, tremendous boxing knowledge, and just a great guy to bounce ideas off of when you need to. But for my first video, I wanted to talk about Anthony Joshua. Now, we are roughly a year removed from the last performance of Anthony Joshua. In September of last year, he fought Daniel Dubois and was knocked out in 5 rounds. He was dropped 3 or 4 times in the fight, showed tremendous heart, came out in that fifth round, really resolved that one of us is going down in this round. And I give Anthony Joshua a lot of credit for that. He went out on a shield and he tried to win the fight. Uh, there are a lot of guys out there that aren't that way. Uh, I think Anthony Joshua needs to retire. I don't think the desire's there. Heart and desire are related, but they are two different things. I would like to see him hang it up. And I started to feel this way when the rebuild that was engineered by Matchroom started after the second Alexander Usyk fight. Now, before I get into why I think he should retire, I want to talk about his career just a little bit. I think Anthony Joshua is going to the Hall of Fame. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Uh, Olympic gold medalist 2012 in London, two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. He unified three titles piecemeal. They were all splintered after Tyson Fury decided to gain 400 pounds and retire. So he beat Charles Martin for the IBF strap. He then fought Vladimir Klitschko. The WBA sanctioned that one. That was the best heavyweight fight of that decade, for sure. And Joshua showed tremendous heart in that fight. Vlad landed the best right hand he'd landed in years, dropped Joshua, and I thought it was over, or at least soon to be over. Joshua got up, composed himself, defended himself, and then would go on to knock out Vladimir. That would be his WBA title win. He would later then go on to fight Joseph Parker in a fight that was not the most exciting, but Joshua won it clearly. And that's a win on Joshua's resume that has aged very well since. Parker has done some pretty incredible things, putting himself back into title contention many, many years later, and is probably right now the number one heavyweight in the world besides Alexander Usyk. He's at least the most deserving of a title shot. So those are some really great accolades. He lost to Andy Ruiz, quickly turned around, bounced back, won the rematch, won 8, 10 rounds of that fight, uh, making him a two-time unified champ. I think that's enough. That's enough to get him in. Not to mention, he sold out stadiums. He carried UK boxing. He carried the heavyweight division. Uh, Sold out Wembley, been all over the UK. Tremendous role model to young men in the UK to the extent that he's known in the US, a role model to them too. Um, in his rematch with Alexander Usyk after losing the championship, I think there's a case to be made that he fought Usyk better in the rematch than anyone at heavyweight since. I Tyson Fury fought him pretty well, but Fury was really in trouble in that first fight. In the second fight, it seemed closer because there wasn't as much drama, but I think Usyk even won more rounds. So than his first fight. So I think the rematch that Joshua fought with Usyk is one of his best performances. That ninth round, he really had Usyk hurt to the body, and I thought he was going to turn it around. And then Usyk pulled a rabbit out of the hat and swept the final 3 rounds. But Joshua should be very proud of that performance, especially given what's happened since. Especially. So, why do I think he should retire, and what do I see? It all starts really with the rebuild. Uh, After the Usyk fight, he took some time off, and 6 months later, he fights Jermaine Franklin Jr. Jermaine Franklin was coming off a loss to Deontay Wilder, who, frankly, even at that time, was shot. It was a close fight. Franklin lost it. And Joshua, if the fire and the hunger and the confidence was still there, should have knocked out Franklin in 6 rounds. He did. Every time Franklin landed in that fight, Joshua would clinch and he would look at his corner. He wasn't looking at his corner for like approval. He was looking at them to say, "Hey, I'm okay, right?" He was almost asking them. If you look at the look in his eyes, it's a question. It's not a statement. Um, he got bloodied in that fight. Make no mistake about it, Anthony Joshua won the fight. But it was not the performance that led me to believe, as they advertised, that Joshua was back. Right? That's not what I got from that fight. It's not reality. Joshua just did not look like he wanted to be there. Okay, he had the skills and the physicality and enough heart left that there's no way Franklin was going to beat him, but he just didn't want to be there. After that, he takes a fight with Robert Helenius. Not really his fault. Dillian White does what Dillian White does. He popped. They had to cancel the fight on short notice. Helenius had just had a fight in a full training camp a week earlier, won that fight, I guess in a castle in Finland somewhere. And so they brought him in to, save the show. And I credit Joshua for doing that. The fight went rounds, and I don't necessarily blame Joshua for that. It's a late replacement, but Kalanius has to deal with the same thing. He's got to deal with the same, and he's going on your turf. Joshua did get his highlight reel knockout, but we didn't learn anything from that fight. And the one thing I didn't like is Joshua took damage. And if you go back and watch it, what everyone remembers is that perfect overhand right as Salinas is moving straight back to Joshua lands. What a lot of people forget is that Joshua was busted up. His nose was busted. His eye was a little droopy. He took damage in that fight against Robert Helenius, who really hadn't been relevant in a decade and is most famous recently for lasting barely 90 seconds with Deontay Wilder. So uh, again, we didn't get anything out of that. Joshua went through the motions, went through a camp, etc., but we didn't get that feeling. He's back. He's back. Um, the next fight in the rebuild, he fights Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin has made a career off the fact that he cut Tyson Fury with a very good left hand and proceeded to basically lose every round of the fight after that. One of the most horrendous cuts you'll ever see, probably worse than Vitaly Klitschko's cut against Lennox Lewis. And Wallin couldn't force the stoppage. Um, Still a great, a great feel good fight for him, but he didn't really do much after that. Nothing that he went 12 rounds with Dominic Brazil. Then he fought two 8 rounders. Fought Rydell Booker, who seemingly everyone fights when they're coming off a layoff. Uh, and one of the things about that fight that I liked was you saw a confidence in Joshua. This was his best performance fighting Otto Wallin. You saw a confidence in him because he knew he could beat him. He knew it. He didn't think he could beat him. He didn't suspect that he could beat him. He didn't go, "Yeah, I can beat this guy if." He said, "I know I can beat him." And you could see it in his posture. You could see it in his ring presence during the fight. A lot of that's because he beat him in the amateurs and he had no concerns, right? Um, I don't know how much we learned from that. That gave me a little hope. Gave me a little hope that maybe we would get a third title reign of Anthony Joshua. But again, Pauline's a little inflated. He landed that one good punch against Fury, who probably didn't train much, and he proceeded to lose the rest of the fight and couldn't force a stoppage on what is the worst cut I think I've ever seen, at least caused by a punch, not a headbutt. Next fight, we get hit the knockout chaos against Francis Ngannou. You know, this was another one that was overhyped. That Ngannou had gone 10 rounds with Fury, dropped him once, and lost. Everyone, especially in the MMA community, was calling him the greatest puncher in the history of combat sports. They said he couldn't take Joshua's punches because he was used to getting hit with MMA gloves. They said he should be lineal champion because he beat Fury, which he didn't. He may have won 4 rounds of that fight, but Fury won six, even with the extra point for the knockdown. That's not a win, guys. Sorry. And he dropped him and couldn't do anything with it. And Fury's warm up in the dressing room before the fight with Ngannou, Fury's warm up was longer than Fury's entire training camp for that fight. He came in to quote Jim Lampley, who once said this about James Toney, Fury came in a big fat tub of goo. I mean, his love handles were popping. I'm no fitness model, but I'm not claiming to be heavyweight champion, and that's a lot for Fury because he's had love handles in a lot of fights lately, and that night he was popping. Um, Nevertheless, Fury won. So good for Ngannou. He was able to parlay that into a shot at Anthony Joshua. Uh, and proceeds to fight Anthony Joshua, and he thinks he's Terrence Crawford. And he goes in there and switches southpaw. And go watch it. It's pretty funny because you can see it. You can see the light in Anthony Joshua. He goes like this. He's like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Throws a pedestrian 1-2 right down the middle at Ngannou. And when I say pedestrian, I just mean I don't think Joshua really had any intention behind it. He was just like, well, he's switching southpaw. I'm going to do this, and drops him. Drops him again in the second round, and then Crow hops after the first knockdown and nearly decapitates Francis Ngannou into oblivion. Probably almost blew his ACL when he fell on, wrong on his knee. Good for Joshua. What did it tell us? Nothing. He did exactly what he was supposed to do against an MMA fighter who has never had a victory in a professional boxing match. That's what he's supposed to do. It was great for websites. It was great for boxing fans to be able to gloat to MMA fans. Uh, that was about it. Didn't really tell us anything. Uh, he goes on a little bit of a layoff after that. That was March of 24. 6 months later, he fights Daniel Dubois at Wembley and loses. So what did this rebuild tell us about Joshua? It told us, to me, that he was being carefully matched to set up another title shot, which he got against Dubois, and they were trying to milk the golden goose one more time. Joshua's punch resistance has gone down. His confidence in taking punches has gone down. And I just don't think he wants it anymore. And when you don't want it anymore, you can have all the tools in the world. If you don't have the desire, it's dangerous, especially at heavyweight. It's dangerous. Um, I would love to see Anthony Joshua retire, remain around boxing, go the Oscar De La Hoya route, become a promoter, work with young kids in the UK, open some boxing gyms in Africa. I know that's sort of a goal that he has because his roots are there a few generations back. Go there, do that, man. I think that's great. I don't think you want to fight anymore. Uh, I believe you should be in the Hall of Fame, Anthony Joshua, and I want to see you in that parade healthy. Um, it's been, we're in August now. He fought last September. Nothing is scheduled. Rumors of Tony Yoka, rumors of a March showdown with Jake Paul. That to me says it all. If you're Anthony Joshua and you're seriously entertaining a fight with Jake Paul, you don't really have any interest in potentially regaining a heavyweight belt. So if he doesn't retire, what should AJ do? I think if he's serious about regaining a title, take the Jake Paul fight, make a ton of money. That'll make crossover news. Then I would challenge someone like Kubrat Pulev. He's got the WBA regular belt. He's in position to be elevated to full champion upon either Usyk vacating or simply retiring. Do that. You've beaten that guy. Go back to Otto Wallin. What did I say? He knew he could beat him. Joshua knows he can beat Pulev. That was his mandatory challenger for the IBF after he regained the titles from Andy Ruiz, knocked him out in 9 rounds. Pulev has not looked good. He basically got that shot because of a lawsuit from Manuel Char for the WBA. That's the only reason he's over there. He even lost to Derek Chisora a couple of years ago. So that's a guy you can beat. You can get a trinket. That trinket will make you a 3-time heavyweight champion in the UK once you're elevated. And then once you do that, that's when it's Tyson Fury time. The title adds a little bit to that fight. At least it gives them a way to market it as more meaningful than if you two guys just fought. 2-fight deal with Tyson Fury, make a ton of money right off in the sunset. But you gotta want it. And I just don't think he does anymore, and that's okay. He's given us so many great fights. He has given us, the heavyweight division reignited with him under it. Some of that was due to Deontay Wilder, especially in the States, but internationally, it was all Anthony Joshua. I mean, he was the biggest money fighter in the world, probably other than Canelo. You've done enough. I don't know that much more would add to your legacy unless you somehow were to get a fight with Usyk and beat him, but I don't see that happening. So your legacy is really set. You've made hundreds of millions of dollars. You've got endorsements. It's time to go. Uh, Thank you all for watching. See you on the next one. Be safe. I'm going to have a beer, and I'll see you on the next video.